tonight a little bit about faith. You know, there's some things been brought up and difficult questions have been asked, and you know the answer to a lot of questions that people have is it has to do with faith. I mean, faith is the answer to a lot of questions. And I know we got these little ones, so I'm going to kind of revamp this just a little bit tonight. That way we can include them in this too. How many people know what faith is? You know what faith is? One of you girls? What's faith?
It's where you trust in God.
Exactly right. It is a complete trust or confidence in someone or something. All right, now how many people know what being faithful is? What? No, you're getting real close though. Being faithful is the action that you take in response to faith. It's the action that you take in response to faith. We're going to go to Hebrews chapter 11. We're going to read verses 6 and 7. It says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith." So Noah, he had faith that God would protect him and his family. He had faith. But what did he do because he was faithful? He built the ark like God told him to do. So having faith and being faithful go hand in hand, because without faith it is impossible to please him. We'll use this as an example. Who thinks that they can do a push-up? You think you can do a push-up? Both of y'all? All right, well, I want y'all to come right up here in the front. Come on. All right, so both of y'all believe that you can do a push-up, right? All right, so let's see you do a push-up. Is that all you got? Okay. So you girls had faith that you could do a push-up, right? But you were faithful because you completed the push-up. The action. Being faithful is the action that you do because of the faith that you have. All right, you can go sit down. So what would have happened? Everybody knows the story of Noah. What would have happened if Noah had faith, but he wasn't faithful? What would have happened? He would have drowned, wouldn't he? And his family with him. We're going to go to James chapter 2, verses 14 through 17. It says, "What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked or destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, Depart in peace, and be ye warmed and filled, Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. So we have to understand that we can have all the faith in the world, but if we have no works to back it up, it's useless. It is no good alone. It is no good alone. We have to not only have faith, but we have to be faithful in all the things that we do. If Noah had faith that God could save his family, but he did nothing about it, then him and his family would have all died. But instead, he was faithful, and he built an ark practically in the middle of the desert, where it hadn't rained in a long time. There was no water around, no water to be seen, no bad weather in sight, no rain in sight. Yet Noah is out there building an ark out in the middle of nowhere. Right out in the middle of nowhere. Because he was faithful to God. Because he put his works in action to go along with the faith. You know, we can have a complete faith in God, but if we don't do what he tells us to do, then all the trust doesn't matter. You know, God doesn't have to speak to us in an audible voice. Many people never hear God speak to them in an audible voice. But it's all right here in the Bible. It's in God's living word. When God tells us to do things, we should do it. We should be faithful. And you know, when God tells us to do something, we should have faith that he's going to see us through it. If God wants you to preach, then preach. Don't run from it. If God wants you to sing, then sing. If God wants you to testify, then testify. You have to have, when God tells you to do something, you have to have faith in God that he will see you through it, but you have to put those works in action. What it's talking about in James is it's real simple. He says you see somebody on the street that has no clothes and no food. They're hungry and they have nothing. So what do? You just wave your arm at them and say, peace be with you. Go and be warm and your belly is full. Like your arm's a magic wand. You just wave it over him. But that's not the way to do it. We take what we can capably do and we do it. If they're hungry, we give them food. If they need clothes, we give them clothing. We don't just say, all right, peace be with you. Be on your way. God will provide food and clothes. When technically we was the one that God provided. We was the one that God put in their path. I got an English teacher out here that's telling me my English is not correct. But we need to do what God wants us to do. We need to have faith in God that he will see us through it, and we need to be faithful. We have to put our works in action. We can't just sit there and say, okay, if it's God's will, it's going to happen. If it's God's will that I have a brand new car, when I wake up in the morning, it's going to be sitting in the driveway. It doesn't work like that. If it's God's will that you have a new car, he gives you the capability to go out and work and make what you need to go get a new car. If it's God's will that a hungry person be fed and he send them your way, it is our job to feed them. It is our job to help them. Now, I'm not saying go give your money to every person with a hand at every corner in every town that you come to, because you have no idea what they're doing with that. But you know what? Some of those people, we have picked them up stuff at McDonald's and took them food back to them. instead of giving them money. Now, some of them we have given them money. But God puts people in our path, and we're supposed to respond. You know, it's got to where I know people used to come to the church, like on Sunday nights when people would have church, somebody would show up and they'd come, they'd sit on the back pew. Usually when somebody comes in the middle of the service and sits on the back pew, there's sometimes that those people, they're waiting for the service to be over. Then after the service, they may need something. They'll say, we're passing through town. We had some car trouble and we ended up having to use our money to fix our car. We don't have enough gas to get home. So what do? We just say, okay, God said start driving and He'll fill your car along the way. No. We can take them to the gas station and we can put gas in their car. If they're hungry, we can take them to the convenience store and we can buy them some food. We can do things to help these people without giving them necessarily money, because nowadays you don't never know what somebody's going to do with that money when you give it to them. And it's a sad world that we live in, but it's a broken world that we're living in today. It really, truly is. But we can do these things, and that's where putting faith in action comes in. You know, we can have faith that God will feed those people, but what did we do about it? What did we do about it? What's the name of that song? God created you. What's the name of that song?
If not us, then who? If not you?
Yeah, it talks about, you know, it's a guy, he's talking to God in the song, and he's saying, he said, all these things are going on in the world. He said, there's people hungry, there's all these things going on in the world. He says, God, why don't you do something? And in the song, God answers him and says, he says, I did. He said, I created you. I created you. You know, and there's a lot of truth to that song. Because if we're not going to do it, then who's going to? If we're not going to do it, then who is going to? I have completely got off of my notes. But you know, God is so good to us. Why in the world can't we show the world how good God is to us? By giving it back to them. By giving it back to them. No, they don't deserve it. We can all look back and say at somebody who wastes all their money on drugs and say, well, you know what? They wasted all their money. Guilty. Right here. This person right here, I've been guilty of the same thing. This person of saying this person has wasted all their money on drugs. Why should I help? Why should I help? But God helped me. So why shouldn't I help? Why shouldn't I help? Why shouldn't I be the love of God shown to these people? Why should I not take the action that God took for me and give it back to these people? I'm not saying give a drug addict money, but if they're hungry, feed them. Why shouldn't I be that light? That's exactly what I should be. I should have faith in God to know that He's going to put me exactly where I'm supposed to be at exactly the right time to help somebody. And being faithful to God means that having that faith and knowing that He's going to put me in their path, being faithful to God means that I don't just keep walking. When I meet these people, it means that I take action and I put it to work. It means that I respond, I react, I open up to these people when somebody is sent my way. That's the difference between having faith and being faithful. It is so wonderful when God puts people in your path and you're able to do something. When you're able and capable of doing something to help them.